Big day tomorrow for Attorney General Jeff Sessions. He will testify before the House Judiciary Committee. This comes as there are new questions about contacts between the Trump campaign and Russia during the 2016 election and what Jeff Sessions knew about it. A member of the House Judiciary Committee joins me now, Democratic Congressman Brad Schneider of Illinois. Thanks so much for joining us, Congressman. You, among others, wrote a letter to the Attorney General warning him, essentially, you're going to ask about inconsistencies with answers that he has given, mostly to the Senate, over the last several months in regards to some of the Russia issues. What do you mean by inconsistencies?
Well, John, thank you. It's good to be here. This is an important hearing tomorrow. It's long overdue, but I'm glad the Attorney General is finally coming to the Judiciary Committee. I think this is an important opportunity for the Attorney General to set the record straight. There have been a pattern of changing stories, changing narratives of what happened, how many contacts have been between the Trump campaign and administration and the Russians. I think news reports are showing up to 30 documented contacts. We need to understand what's there. This is a chance for the Attorney General to set the record straight and restore his credibility.
He has said that he didn't know of any other contacts besides his meeting with the Russian ambassador between the Trump campaign and the Russians. He was in a meeting with George Papadopoulos, who says he suggested at the time that the president meet, or then the candidate meet with Vladimir Putin, also said that he had been talking to Russians. Do you think that the Attorney General has been telling the truth?
Well, I think that's what tomorrow's hearing will help shine a light upon. The Attorney General has changed the story multiple times already. What he needs to do is set the record straight and lay out everything he did know when he knew it, and what contacts this administration and the campaign before it had with the Russians. I think that's very important.
Congress has its hands now. Tax cuts, the tax reform the Republicans are putting forward could come to a vote in the House this week. The president in the Philippines just put out a statement on that, and I want to read it to you. He says, "I'm proud of the Republican House and Senate for working so hard on cutting taxes and reform. We're getting close. Now how about ending the unfair and highly unpopular individual mandate in Obamacare and reducing taxes even further, cut the top rate to 35%, with all of the rest going to middle income." That's actually two big changes to the Republican plan if they go ahead with it, getting rid of the Obamacare individual mandate and cutting the top rate from 39% to 35%. What impact do you think that this new statement from the president might have?
Well, I'm just hearing about the statement now, but I think you see in there a consistent pattern of this president to try to undermine and take away health care from millions of Americans. He's doing that again. And within his proposals on the tax code is trying to give tax breaks to those who have the most and put the burden on Americans who are working the hardest and struggling the most. I think that's the wrong track to go. I think everyone agrees that we need tax reform, but it's got to be tax reform that supports the middle class, gives the middle class a break, grows our economy, and doesn't put our children's future at risk by increasing the debt.
I think it's fair to say you weren't going to vote for this tax plan as it was anyway, so the president's statements on it aren't going to make you any less likely to vote for it. I just wanted to get your reaction on that. I also want to get your reaction to some political commentary from Saturday Night Live that took place over this weekend. Now, you can smile at Saturday Night Live, but it's really speaking to the current state of the Democratic Party and those who are leading the party. So watch this, Senator, if you can.
You love our fresh new ideas delivered by fresh new faces like me, Nancy Pelosi.
And me, Dianne Feinstein.
And me, Chuck Schumer.
Y yo soy Tim Kaine.
And we learned our lesson from the last election. We can't just appeal to coastal elites. We need mouth breathers from Wisconsin.
And window lickers from Ohio as well.
It's the first part of that statement, Congressman. I promoted you to the Senate. You're a working member of Congress in the House of Representatives, so let's make that clear. But the first part of that from Saturday Night Live is very interesting. It does point out right now that this is there might be a generational issue right now for the Democratic Party. Do you think there is?
You know, John, as I travel around my district, I'm talking to people who are sharing with me concern about their future, their children's future. They're looking for government to work to help create job opportunities that are going to raise Americans' standard of living, educational opportunities that are going to make sure our kids learn the lessons and skills they need to compete in a global 21st century economy. They're looking for a message that I think the Democratic Party is really delivering, that we are the party of the American dream.
But, Congressman, they're also looking for messengers. And the question is, are Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer the right messengers right now?
Well, I believe we have a lot of messengers, and Nancy Pelosi is the leader. I think she has done a good job over the last year. If you look where we are, a year ago after the election in 2016, I think the expectation was that the Affordable Care Act, which is not perfect but a step forward, providing insurance to millions of Americans, was going to be on the chopping block in January. Here we are in November, and millions of Americans still have insurance. We need to address the issues, address the problems, stabilize the markets, as a group I'm a part of called the Problem Solvers Caucus has put forward ideas to do that. But I think the broad Democratic message is that we're fighting for all Americans, for working Americans, to have the opportunity that our parents and grandparents sacrificed to give us, making sure our kids have even a better opportunity in the future.
Well, you must know somebody because you're on two good committees, Judiciary and Foreign Affairs. How would you grade the president's Asia trip as he is on the home stretch right now?
Well, I think it's too early to give the president a grade. I will tell you, I've watched closely as he traveled to the 5 nations. I breathed a sigh of relief that we didn't create any new crises. The president didn't create any new crises. But you know, the world is a marketplace not just for commerce, but for ideas and leadership. And I think what we're seeing with President Trump and this administration is ceding in the marketplace of ideas and leadership to countries like China and Russia. We need the United States to lead. I believe the world's a safer place when the United States is at the front. I think everyone benefits, including the American people.
Congressman Brad Schneider, we look forward to watching you tomorrow in the House Judiciary Committee hearing, which will take place at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time right here. You can see it on CNN. Thanks, Congressman. Murder in the military. An Army Green Beret is dead. 2 Navy SEALs